Greetings, YouTube. Before I go into the video, let me be upfront about this. I don't approve of recreational chemicals, personally. I don't use them. I haven't used any recreational chemicals in 28 years. Okay, so I am not advocating marijuana because I want to use it. Because I don't. I have no interest in it. I have never smoked anything. I don't ever want to smoke anything. So, let me just say that first. I was listening to an NPR piece not long ago, and there was a police officer from Colorado talking about how difficult it is to explain marijuana use to her kids, and what a big hassle it is to do that. And I was thinking to myself, if you've been explaining alcohol use to your child, how is that any different than explaining marijuana use? Particularly because marijuana is so much less dangerous than alcohol. I'm going to link to a video where it actually has some nice little facts about legal marijuana and its impact on American culture. Now, I'm looking forward to the day where it's legal everywhere. Why it isn't legal in New Hampshire is beyond me. Our state motto is live free or die. And yet, we don't have legal weed. That makes no sense to me. But no one gets addicted to marijuana. But alcoholism is rampant everywhere. I know. I was raised by an alcoholic. Who was raised by an alcoholic? Who was raised by an alcoholic? Who was raised by an alcoholic? You get the point. I come from a long line of alcoholics. And alcoholics are violent. Stoned people are not. I have a question for you, and I really would seriously like you to answer this. If you had a choice between being in a crowd of 1,000 drunk people, say St. Patrick's Day, or 1,000 stoned people, say a Phish concert, which would you prefer? I gotta tell you right now, I don't want to be around one drunk person. 1,000 drunk people is dangerous. People are going to get hurt. Property is going to get damaged. Relationships are going to be harmed. 1,000 stoned people? They're going to eat a lot of munchies and laugh a lot. Probably have some sex. Maybe not the safest sex. I'll give you that. But they're not going to beat people. They're not going to attack and riot in the streets. Because that's what drunk people do. Drunk people abuse people. Drunk people are dangerous to themselves and others. Many a bad thing has followed the statement, "Hey buddy, hold my beer." Alcohol is dangerous. Flat out. Marijuana is not. They both have detrimental effects to the body. But one turns people into raging asses who can kill, and the other makes people giggle and fall asleep. So you can't compare the two. And anyone that works in law enforcement that wants me to take them seriously, that thinks marijuana is more dangerous, or even as dangerous as alcohol, has completely and utterly undermined their credibility. I will not listen to them because they are fools. They have bought into propaganda which is lies. And remember, do you know how making marijuana illegal, and they did the same thing for cocaine, was sold to the American people? It was racism. Social conservatives and people who didn't want to have marijuana around for making hemp paper, because the people that produced pulp paper didn't want hemp paper and backed these things because they owned the newspapers, they sold the idea by saying that black men high on marijuana would rape white women. They also implied that white women high on marijuana would sleep with black men voluntarily. So it was both sides of a crappy coin, but it was all racism. That's how it was sold to the American people and how they were convinced that you had to outlaw marijuana. And of course, thousands and thousands of people have been put in jail for a harmless weed. One that does not kill people. One that does not ruin lives the way alcohol does. And yes, people are going to bring up anecdotal evidence about how they know someone whose life was wasted because they were wasted. And you know, that's true. There are people like that. I've known some. But the stoned people that waste their lives are less dangerous than the drunk people that waste their lives. And I've never been able to find anybody to dispute that. Drunk people are dangerous. Alcohol can cause very bad things. It can be used reasonably. I know. My wife is a reasonable drinker. She drinks 1 or 2 beers a week. She likes good beer. She's not drinking Natty Light. And you can use marijuana reasonably. Are there people who abuse alcohol? Yes. Are there people who abuse marijuana? Yes. But again, one of those groups is dangerous, the other isn't. And at the end of the day, to me, that's all that matters. We need legal weed. We need people to be able to just kick back and relax, have some munchies, giggle, and fall asleep, as opposed to being raging drunks and causing damage and violence. To me, this isn't even something you need to think about. There is no debate. We need legal